Hello everybody, how you doing? My name is Michael, and we're going to continue on with our playthrough of Dark Souls 2. This time we're going to be going through the Doors of Pharos. So you can see I've changed my gear quite a bit. I now have the old or rusted Mastodon armor. Still got the Varangian leggings. Got the old Archdrake shield out. And I farmed a Mastodon halberd. The Mastodon halberd is one of the best strength weapons in the entire game. It is absolutely amazing. It can rip through enemies, and I actually went and beefed it up all the way to plus 10. I use this weapon quite a lot in this game, and it can probably shred a significant number of enemies at this upgrade path level. So, let's go into the Doors of Pharos. The Doors of Pharos is... I'm going to... This is an invasion-based Covenant area, so, you know, just if something happens, you know, you know why it's happening. It's because I'm being invaded. And I may not be able to talk quite as readily as I would have. As soon as we step in there, we're going to find another one of those primal knights, the elephant knights. I actually had to farm this guy so much that I eventually just killed him. I despawned him, so now he will not respawn unless I use a bonfire ascetic, along with a number of the Gurm in here that I also farmed. But doing that actually got me a significant amount of Gurm armor, weapons, and large Titanite shards, with which the Gurm also drop. I also got the cool Gurm Viking helmet, but unfortunately, wearing it will make me overburdened, considerably overburdened. Even though it does look good with this, I am not going to wear it. In the next area, we're going to cross, just after the Primal Knight, a toxic rat. And these toxic rats will inflict you with the toxic condition. We've already seen poison every now and again, but toxic is very, very serious. Toxic will bring down your health very quickly, even if you're a high-level character and have a significant amount of health. And he is going to run at us as soon as as soon as that Primal Knight sees us. You'll also notice that we're walking around in water. It's about waist deep, about thigh deep water. And that can make this area very difficult because it removes your ability to run. But just remember, you're not in the Valley of Defilement and Demon Souls at the very least, so you can still roll in the water, although running and movement in general is very difficult. Now, we're going to try to take the toxic rat out with arrows, because as soon as you get close, just him being there, he's another one of those touch attack enemies. Just him being next to you will harm you. See, he's using the same weapon that I am. Uh-oh. Alright, this is what happens. Oh, okay. Embarrassingly, I was killed there because I sort of gave up and wasn't really bothering to fight and wanted to be healed up. But let's talk about the invasion area. Maybe we'll get invaded again, I don't know. But what the Doors of Pharos is and how the place works is that as soon as you enter, if you're a member of the Covenant, the Rat Covenant, let's see if we're going to be invaded. That will usually turn to mist the instant we go in if we're going to be invaded, so I don't know. If you join the Rat Covenant, that means you can wander around here without the enemies attacking you, I think. And any person that is not in the Covenant, that is summoned into this area, will be well, hold on a minute. Let me run away from this guy so I can talk a little more freely. Okay. So, if you join this Covenant, the Rat Covenant, that means you can walk around here, and any enemy, as long as you're wearing the rat ring, any other player character in another world that walks around in the same region can be summoned into your world, and you can fight and try to kill them, and the enemies will attack them, but not you. So the Primal Knight and the Gurm that are up there and the toxic rats will all be attacking them. It's like a gigantic troll ground for you to fight against the players that wander in. There was a covenant like this in Dark Souls 1, the Forest Hunters Covenant, which had the same principle. If you were a member of the Forest Hunters Covenant, you would not be attacked by the other Forest Hunters, and anyone that was not in the Forest Hunters that tried to go through the forest was immediately attacked. It's very different in this game, though, because in the Doors of Pharos and in the other rat world, you're actually summoned in. Your spirit is summoned into the other person's game, and you have to fight them there in that person's world, which we would have done if the summoning wasn't canceled because I died stupidly. And when we would have gotten there, we would have fought them, and then if we'd lived or if we died, we would have immediately been teleported, transported back to our world wherever we were at the start of the summoning. For instance, we were down there when we started being summoned, so we would have gone right back there whether we lived or whether we died. I actually kind of like this method because you go in there, you can do some PvP. It's incredibly unfair PvP where it's stacked incredibly against you, but still, you don't actually lose anything. You don't lose your souls, you don't lose your humanity if you die there. You don't lose even your place in the level. You don't have to start the level over again. You just go right back to where you were, and you just, start playing again. So the fact that you don't lose very much makes it very attractive to me, and I really like that. Although it has been said to be very, very annoying if you are summoned repeatedly and are killed by a guy, again and again. And there's really, it's so incredibly unfair. Dark Souls is about being unfair in a way, and especially in the PvP. They deliberately allow you to be unfair. But this is just too much for me, and for a lot of Souls veterans. Even of Dark Souls 1, this was a little bit too much. You have to go in and fight an enemy that, I have one, by the way, as a Grey Spirit in here, and it does feel extra good, just like it did in Dark Souls 1, when you defeat an enemy that's obviously more powerful than you are. That is really cool and really fun, but still, I can see how it can be annoying to people. This is an important item for strength characters here. The Gurm Axe. This is maybe the best axe in the game. It has pretty decent stats. You don't have to have a lot to use it. Its moveset is, it's okay. You have to be very precise where you point this. You can't slash across with the one-handed like you can with the two here. And I think two, yeah, that's another smash, but this weapon can actually do very significant damage because, you see, it's already adding 100 points of extra damage with the scaling, and it's only at a B. And it can get up to an A. I don't think it can get higher than an A, but it can get up to that. Then we also got a torch there. I also farmed out this guy's shield and some of his armor. Some of the other armor besides the chest piece I'm wearing. We're going to go find a couple more of those toxic rat things down here. I'm probably not going to be beating the boss in this area because he is one of the worst bosses in the game. Not one of the hardest, but one of the worst. Oh, here we go. I'm being summoned as a spirit. Good. We can show this to you now, what happens. It's easier to illustrate it if you actually see it. And I think we're going to start out, I assume at the beginning. I think do you always start out at the beginning of the level? I haven't played around with the Cat Covenant very much, and you automatically started at the very beginning of all this. And part of the Cat Covenant is that you can, what is it? Sorry, I'm getting distracted here. Is that you are able to use Pharos Lockstones, which you win if you kill an opponent in this level, to set off a ton of Pharos devices that make traps in this area, including falling rocks and lava and, I think that was the host actually over there. Ooh. Get some good damage on him, but we have to go up there in order to actually fight him, which is going to be very tricky, I think. Fleecy Scarab. And so he's probably set off tons of the traps because he's stocked up on Pharos Lockstones in order to do that. And of course he's up there at the top, so that means that in order to fight him, we have to go up to the top, which is not easy if he's pelting us with arrows. And there are two more toxic rats in this area here, and a bunch of Gurm and traps between us and him, which is going to make this... Oh! Okay, Oh, you know what happened? I think he must have fallen off from the roof there. That must have happened, I guess. Or can you get hit by your own traps? Is that possible? I don't know that. That was kind of odd. And you see, we're going to be sent back to our world. I'm really glad that I was summoned in this so I can show you that. right where we left off. Not at the beginning, but right where we were when we were summoned. So let's head over here. We might be summoned again, I don't know. That's why it's hard to do commentary in this area. There are 2 toxic rats in here. And the fact that I cannot kill these toxic rats with 1 hit is pretty much precluding us defeating the boss of this area. No. And they drop Pharros' Lockstones. Oh, by the way, while I was killing the Gurm, I also got their shield as a drop, and I wanted to show it to you. Here we go. This is a really cool shield. It looks awesome, but again, like with the Pursuer shield, if you got that one, you hold it at the very bottom, and it looks odd. You should be holding it a little higher, like the bottom should be up just above your ankle. It shouldn't be just below your toes there. Oh, I like the back there. You see it's kind of makeshift with the wood. I didn't notice that before, is it? That must not have been new. That must have been there, but anyway, this shield has, I think, 100% fire resistance. So, if you're fighting the Smelter Demon or another fire boss, this is incredibly useful. Let's head over here. And this is a hex called Twisted Barricade. Not exactly sure what it does, because I'm not up on the hexery. These guys are fairly easy. I can see why the Gurm were defeated, because they're so easy to backstab. You know, they're so slow. But, again, I feel so shameful killing my Dwarven brethren like this, but, like I said, they've gone undead, they've gone crazy. No more ale making and dragon fighting for them. Oh. And just going to show you here, you can actually, I usually do pop in here as quick as I can, maybe in offline mode, just to pick up, let's see what this says. Oh no, hold on. To pick up some upgrade items that you can get. Treasure, by the way, down. That's exactly right. You can get, I think it's a piece of Twinkling Titanite, or maybe 2 in here, in this little secret area. Most of the items, they just, 1 piece and a faint stone. Most of those little Gurm, Pharros' Lockstone things unlock Gurm traps. Like they open a door and there's a Gurm in there and he has an axe, or or they have those axes popping down at you or something like that. Or, just weird trap type things. Notice on the right wall here, there are spikes. Do not press too close to the right wall or you will die. And there's a guy, a Gurm, just ahead of us with a button that say he retracted them. He can push them out too and try to kill us that way. There are a bunch of other cool little traps like that. And it's just really fun. Just be careful when you come over here that this is a chest with some good items in it, and it's wooden and it can break, and that guy can accidentally break it if he goes full retard and tries to kill you. Poison. Usually it's the other trap, the arrow one that's got my shield out, but Chunk and Petrified Dragonbone, excellent. We can get some Petrified Dragonbone at Brightstone Cove Selora, too. Soul item, I think. Yes, it is. Okay. The rest of this area is really just the trap area for you to bring, you to lure people in here and fight them. It's not really... There's no real point to going down here, but since I can so easily kill these guys, I might just pop over here. I think that one throws the axes, maybe? I went through once, like 7 months ago, all of the trap things when I joined the Cat Covenant, and I'm not interested anymore in figuring this out. Trap ahead, yeah. I'm trying to figure out how that guy died. I didn't think you could get hit by your own traps, but maybe that's possible. I don't know. I guess it's possible. But he might have just fallen off. That's the boss room in there, but we have something else to do before we get to the boss room. It's very convenient and also telling that there is a bonfire right outside of it, because they know that it is friggin' unfair. I was going to jump down there with the cat ring, but now I'm not so sure. Because that guy fell. You know what? Fuck it, I'm going to put it on. It doesn't look that far down. Famous last words, right? Yeah, it's not that far down. I don't think he could have fallen. He probably was hit by the trap. In here, we will find one of the most unique and interesting items in the game, and one of the most overused and annoying items, especially before the patch. that nerfed it. If you go here, this one down here, use a Pharros' Lockstone and the one on the ground under the water, the Gurms obviously did not get their sump pump going, and that's why there's all this water on the floor. We will find a Primal Knight. Now, the two Pharros' Lockstones to the right and to the left open those two parts of the door, but we don't need to do that in order to get in. We just need that first one, and you can hammer away at the Primal Knight from out here, which is, again, extremely cheesy and very unfair to these magnificent elephantine warriors, but still, if you're having trouble with them and you want to get this item, well, that's the way to do it, because we can sneak in here and get this item. Oh, it's a metal chest, okay. This is an item known as Santia's Spear. And Santia's Spear is a very, is it the most, yeah, it might be the most unique item in the game. By the way, I didn't show you this before, we actually got from that Mimic chest in the other episode, the Black Scorpion Stinger, which is listed as the weapon of Man-Scorpion Tark, but maybe it's made from one of his stingers or something, but this isn't, you know, I mean, this obviously isn't what he uses a halberd, so it's either a mistake, or maybe they didn't care, or maybe they're saying, hey, he used other weapons at other points in his life. Let's take a look at that spear. Now, let's see. What does it say? Spear that was embedded in a stone statue. According to an old local legend, a great spear was used to defeat Santia, the walking statue. Perhaps this is that very spear. We actually fight walking statues later on in the game in the castle. But it will be difficult to utilize such a thing in the manner of a spear. Your only choice is to swing it around and smite foes about the head. Yeah, you can see that there's actually a... Oh, it's actually through the mouth. I didn't notice that. A stone head stuck in the spear. You also may have noticed that... Let's take a look at the durability. 500? That automatically marks this as a very peculiar item indeed. 500? You'd be lucky if you can get 50 on a weapon. The trick to this little weapon here is that secretly, if you break the weapon, then it automatically loses that stone statue there on the top, and it will become a brand new weapon. It will be totally different than the thing that it is now. However, you have to whack through, like I said, 500 durability points, and it almost seems like a cruel joke that most of the time in the game, the durability is agonizingly quick, and this time it is achingly slow. However, a trick to do that, besides just fighting enemies or whacking walls with it, which will take away durability as well, if you go up to the corpses of enemies and hit them, that takes away durability damage too. See, it went from 479 to 474. And when you actually break this, the weapon has a completely different moveset. It's actually a sort of twin blade slash spear, which is kind of neat. And the twin blade part of it has made it one of... It originally was one of the best weapons in the entire game. It could do an enormous amount of damage, just hammer away at you with damage so quickly that there was really nothing you could do about it. And eventually they had to nerf it and make it less difficult to do that. Now, because I'm already dead and I don't really care about this 7,000 souls, I will pop in here and show you the boss. Maybe another time I will come back and defeat him. But this boss is one of the most irritating bosses in all of Souls history, and also one of the worst bosses I've ever seen. What it is a gigantic dog, and we'll go in here because this fight doesn't start immediately. What it is a gigantic dog that is hidden back there, if you can see him poking out up there exactly where the reticule is. However, he's not difficult. He's fairly easy. What makes this difficult is these guys. 1, 2, 3, 4 toxic dogs. And he jumps out immediately when you attack one of these dogs, and makes this almost impossible to do unless you are able to one-shot all of those dogs. You can do that. You can one-shot them and kill them before you engage with this guy. You have like a split second before you do it, but it's very difficult. I'll show you here. I'm almost certainly going to die, but And probably from Toxic as well, which is not fun. Yeah, because I need 2 hits to kill these dogs. Weirdly enough, the you may have noticed the dog guy there actually hurts the little dogs somehow. I don't know why. Was that supposed to make this easier? I don't even know. He's supposed to be a rat, by the way, even though he looks like a dog. I mean, I don't know what they were thinking there. Yeah, I died here, and I'm not even going to bother going through it because there's honestly no point. You get very few souls for doing it. I mean, I may, when I come back and have a plus 10 weapon and can one-shot the dogs, I can do it. But, I mean, there's really no point. His soul... I have no interest in the Cat Covenant. I don't really... or the Rat Covenant. I don't really want to do that. I don't really care. So, I'm honestly not going to even bother. The Doors of Pharos has significantly changed invasions, including another area, the Belfry areas, which we're going to go to in another episode. What they did was take the invasion system, where any time in virtually any part of the game you could be attacked by another player and suffer an invasion, and instead walled off and made it more enticing for people that like to invade to only do so in 4 optional areas, the 2 rat areas and the 2 Belfry areas. And that has drawn a lot of criticism, and I think I agree with it. I prefer the original Dark Souls system of invasion, which is that if you're undead like I am now, you can't be invaded. You can only be invaded if you are alive. And that sent an interesting message, because it was saying, if you're alive, then you can summon other people to help you and make this game so much easier. But also, if you're alive, you're going to run into people that are nasty and want to hurt you. Which is an interesting way to look at human interaction in general, because it's really an honest way of looking at it, because if you go out there and try to talk to people and try to see what they say, see what they want to do, see what they're like, and try to make friends, you're going to run into people that you can co-op with, that you can become friends with, that are great, that are wonderful, that like you and that you like, and are just going to make your life so much easier. But you're also going to run into people, inevitably, that are nasty, mean-spirited, and cruel, who are going to sadistically try to hurt you. Or you can just avoid the entire thing altogether and hang around and do everything on your own. So it's teaching you that it is very valuable to take that risk, to take that risk to interact with other people and make friends, because even though you'll be brutalized by some nasty people, it's going to be worth it, because everything's going to be made so much easier, because you're going to meet really good people too. But in this game, they've really ruined that invasion system. It originally seemed like there were going to be more invasions the way they were selling it, because you could invade someone whether they were undead or no. You can invade someone at any time. But in reality, there are very, very few invasions. I haven't been invaded yet in this playthrough, I think, because, well, there's really no point to invading you randomly anywhere where you can have fun and really enjoy invading people in those little small areas. All 4 of those areas, by the way, are completely optional zones. The Belfry zones and the rat zones. There is one last thing to note about that zone. If you kill both of the rat groups, that is the one in the Doors of Pharos and the one down there in the Grave of Saints, the cat person in here will sell you a new set of armor called just a pair of pants called the Flying Feline Breeches. And they make your feet look like cat legs, and it looks silly. And they also greatly reduce the damage that you take when you fall. So it's like a new Silver Cat ring, and they stack with the Silver Cat ring. So that's actually pretty cool and looks pretty neat. So I think I'm just about ready to end this episode. This one is going to be kind of short because the area we were in was kind of short. And I'm not quite sure where I'm going to go next time, but I will see you guys there.